Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse has chimed in on the fork of the XRP ledgers, talking about Flare, which has created the Spark token, and they're calling it a utility fork. Now, normally when forks occur, there's going to be people, depending on what side you're on, that are going to view it as hostile. This actually is not the case with this particular fork, and they called it utility fork for a reason. It's supposed to add additional utility to XRP, making making it possible for XRP to have a piece of the pie in terms of smart contracts and more. And so, look, and I want to be honest here too, so I'm never going to pretend to be like a know-it-all, and I don't know a ton about this. I made a separate video about this where I shared everything I knew to that point. So the way I look at this is, when I started the channel even, I said this early on, it's more like, I'm going to share with you what I know, you guys please share with me what you know, and we can all just kind of learn together. So there's going to be a little bit of learning going on here, probably for all of us, because there's only so much publicly available information on this. But I do want to share with you what I have, and also, Brad Garlinghouse did a Q&A, and so and it was all over the Webernets, so it was all typed up. But I want to share with you a bunch of what he had to say, so it's not purely about that. And also, if you're an XRP holder, this is very important, you get free Spark tokens. This is not a scam. You are going to get free Spark tokens. So if you have 1,000 XRP, for example, you get 1,000 Spark tokens. Now, obviously, the price of XRP and the price of one Spark token will not be the same. In fact, there's only been one cryptocurrency exchange to this point that has announced that they're going to be listing Spark for trading. But this is interesting. So, you could think about this. One of the big reasons that there's an opportunity for asymmetrical returns within this asset class is because it's not particularly liquid. So you can think, when there's not that much money in the first place, how much new money would have to come in to double or triple or quadruple or so on and so forth the price of any particular cryptocurrency. Well, considering that Bitcoin which is the biggest cryptocurrency out there, it's like 200 billion in market cap or somewhere thereabout as I record this, and you got XRP, it's only, what is it today? 12 or 13 billion, somewhere around there, right? It doesn't take that much money to double, triple this. And so the reason I wanted to mention this before I even get into the rest of the video, I wanted to make sure I didn't forget this, because it's just a fascinating thing. Look, I don't know about what the long-term viability of Spark will be. There's no, again, I just said I'm still learning all of this with you guys, but I will say this. If it ends up that Spark has staying power, and if it ends up getting listed on a ton of cryptocurrency exchanges, we got it first of all, as XRP holders, and there's no liquidity for it whatsoever. And so the multiplier effect could be rather tremendous. And so I don't know that it will be that case, but I understand what happens when money flows into illiquid markets. It can get ridiculous, which is how you get tremendous parabolic run-ups in the world of crypto right now. That's a big part of it. And then there's a frenzy around the asset class as well. But you're going to get an opportunity, if you're an XRP holder, to get your free Spark tokens, and I'm going to run through some of what I know about how you can do that, even though even Flare hasn't announced all the details, just to be sharing that with you from the get-go here. I also want to mention this too. This is super duper important. I know this is going to happen. Inevitably, when we get closer to the point where the Spark tokens are going to be distributed, there are going to be scammers out there. And so I just want to say this right now. Please listen up. Never give your private key away. Never. You don't, to get your Spark tokens, you are not ever going to have to give your private key to anyone, anywhere. You're not going to have to type it in anywhere. If somebody says that you need to type in your private key somewhere to get your Spark tokens, don't do it. You're going to lose everything in all likelihood. And if anybody says, hey, send a certain amount of XRP and then we'll send you way more XRP or way more Spark token or any crypto back, don't do it. That's a scam too. Please do not fall for this. Please be very careful out there. But if you do this right, you are going to be entitled to free Spark tokens. So it's really cool stuff here. Let's go ahead and right here. Let's just go through this first real quick. So Ripple Chief Executive Brad Garlinghouse says a new crypto platform is combining the best of what XRP, Ethereum, and Avalanche have to offer. During the inaugural crypto town hall event, the head of the San Francisco-based startup shares his insights of the implementation of Flare with the XRP network. And I'm telling you, with how much attention this has got and the positive feedback from people that are, from a technological perspective, I think rather savvy with it, From the positive reaction I've seen, I will not be surprised if the Spark token and Flare end up having staying power. So this is definitely worth talking about for us as XRP holders. But here's what Brad Garlinghouse had to say, because look, he's even on board with this. Look at this. From my point of view, Flare is combining the best of XRP, very fast settlement, Ethereum, smart contracts, and Avalanche for consensus, which helps extend XRP's utility and allows developers to create smart contracts for new use cases like lending and DeFi, which of course is short for decentralized finance. Now, Flare Networks, a Ripple-backed blockchain firm, is rewarding XRP holders with Spark, which is a new crypto asset that enables users to leverage the features of smart contracts. And so here's a quote on that. The Flare Network is a new Turing-complete smart contract platform, integrating the Ethereum virtual machine. Its native token, the Spark, is generated through a utility fork of XRP. Furthermore, Flare uses the XRP encryption scheme, which can facilitate the usage of XRP Ledger and Flare for XRP users. So, part of the point being, if smart contracts really do ultimately get adopted in some sort of meaningful way the world over, XRP can now have a piece of that. With the XRP Ledger, the way it was coded, it was intentionally left out. And I've talked about that in recent videos. It was a good move. But now you can get a piece of the pie. So that's rather fascinating, is it not? And I'll go through some of these questions too. I guess at this point, I don't want the video to go on too long, so maybe I could circle back in a separate video and cover some more of this some other time, because it actually is pretty interesting here. But I can share with you a few of the questions up here. And it's not all about Flare, but I do have more I want to say about Flare, about how you can go and ultimately acquire your Spark tokens as soon as it's possible. Like, to this point, you can't. It hasn't, like I said earlier, it hasn't happened yet. But here's a question from this little town hall thing. Do you believe a digital asset can be as liquid as a G10 country currency? If yes, how far in the future do you see this happening? Brad Garlinghouse responded, without a doubt. I'm reticent to predict timing. Even things like COVID have impacted the pace of digitization of everything. So hard to predict. Yeah, well, I think he's spot on there. I mean, like, I've even said this too, and I hope this doesn't just sound like hyperbole. Like, to me, it'd be weird if this didn't happen, really. It's just this idea of the cryptocurrency asset class being a multi-trillion-dollar asset class, and perhaps some individual coins that offer extreme utility that transform perhaps the way money moves around the planet. XRP. Perhaps some cryptocurrencies, individual ones, might end up having a $1 trillion market cap on their own. I mean, think about it. Gold's $9 trillion. You can have a single asset that's valued in the trillions here. And then Brad was asked, hey, Brad, what do you think is Ripple's biggest challenge in the upcoming months? And he wrote, I'm going to talk about this with Congressman Emmer soon, which I actually talked about recently. Brad, what steps do the U.S. lawmakers need to do to let America lead the way with crypto and fintech? Also, we'll cover this with the congressman. I'll do one more and then I got to move on because this thing's really long. And actually, it would be fun to come back because a lot of what he said was really awesome. He even talked about eating ice cream out of the carton, so you know he's getting down to some serious stuff right now. Hey, Brad, my question is something I have heard you speak on in the past. How far along would you say Ripple and XRP are in the replacing Swift marathon? Do you feel significant ground has been gained? And Brad Garlinghouse responded, I recently tweeted that we have done more than $7 billion in transactions on RippleNet. A great start, but still very early in the marathon. Yeah, and that's certainly true. And that's why, when I talk about the development of Ripple, and talk about how there are only a handful of corridors open, so in the sense in terms of like XRP being positioned as a bridge currency, it's happening today, but barely at all relative to settlement on the Swift network. And that's not to rip Ripple at all. Ripple's killing it in terms of because look, this has never been done before. It's amazing what they pulled off here, frankly. But you gots to be patient, I say. And so here's this now. This is from CryptoComes XRPL Labs. Head releases tool for XRP holders to claim Spark tokens. First listing also announced. I'm gonna tell you about the listing first, and then I'm gonna jump to Wietse Wind, who is the one that's helping out with getting your Spark tokens here. But here it is, a tweet from BitTrue, cryptocurrency exchange. BitTrue are the first exchange to announce support for @Flare Networks distribution of Spark tokens to XRP holders. All you need to do is keep your XRP on BitTrue. That's it. The exact time of the distribution will be shared later. More info at, and then they share a little link there. So if you're using BitSure, that would be easy, and there will be a certain number of cryptocurrency exchanges that do that. Now, for me, I'm not like I've got my XRP in various wallets that are not on cryptocurrency exchanges, and I will not be moving it all to cryptocurrency exchanges just to get the Spark token. And you don't have to, which is the good news. I'm not going to do that personally. But if you do have it on exchange, then you're good. Now, not every cryptocurrency exchange is going to be as supportive of this. For instance, I saw, and I didn't verify this myself, so take it with a grain of salt here. But I gathered in my Twitter feed that Coinbase is actually they do not have any plans to support this. So if you have your XRP on Coinbase, you're going to have to move it to a either separate exchange or just put it in your own wallet. You could use like a Ledger Nano S, whatever, and that's what I use anyway. And then you'll be able to get your Spark token still. So let's go ahead and run through this. And by the way, you can go to flare.wietse.com. That's flare.wietse.com. And you can see what he has put together here. He's got a bunch of checkboxes. He must be very sure that you know what the hell is going down here, because there are risks associated with all this, of course. But here's what Wietse Wind wrote. And again, he's the guy that runs XRPL Labs. He's the creator of the XRP tip bot. And so XRPL Labs is funded through Ripple's Spring Initiative. But he titled this piece, "Prepare for Claiming Your Spark Tokens at the Flare Network, a Tool for Some and XRP Toolkit." At some point in the future, the Flare Network will be launched by the people at Flare Networks. The native token of the Flare Network is Spark, just like the native token of the XRP ledger is XRP. The Flare Network and the XRP ledger are separate ledgers based on entirely different underlying technology, each with their own characteristics, advantages, and use cases. The two ledgers will be in a relationship together, though. Here's a somewhat technical but step-by-step explanation of how the XRP token on the XRP ledger relates to the FXRP token, which is representing XRP on the Flare network, and how the native Flare network Spark token comes into play. There's a link there, so I'm not going to go through that way too much for this video. I just want to get you guys like the general gist and kind of steer you in a direction so that you can research if you want to look into this a little bit further, if you decide you do want to claim your Spark tokens. I don't know why somebody wouldn't want to. That'd be silly. But anyway, at some point in the future, the people at Flare Networks will launch their actual network and distribute the native Spark token. In short, all people holding XRP in non-custodial wallets, you keep your keys, will be eligible to claim Spark tokens. Some exchanges will distribute Spark as well. If you own XRP in an exchange that doesn't participate, you can still withdraw your funds to your own non-custodial XRP ledger account using some wallet, for example. Read on for more information. He provides a link there. And then he wrote. Then he had a little disclaimer about how he's not, working for Flare or anything like that. And he writes, "As the founder of XRPL Labs, working on some XUMM, that's his app he's working on, a non-custodial XRP ledger wallet, I would simply like to offer our users and Ledger Nano users using XRP Toolkit a way to prepare for the Spark token distribution." And I suppose this is probably what I'm going to end up doing since I do have a Ledger Nano S. All right. Then he notes that he's not the right person to ask about Flare questions, including, distribution, this and that, so on and so forth. And so here's how it works. So he writes, receiving Spark tokens. Spark tokens will be distributed at a moment that is still to be announced by the Flare team on the Flare network, based on the amount of XRP owned on the ledger. And the way this will work is the XRP ledger account holders will need an account, private key and account, for the Flare network. A private key and account can be generated already to be used in the future on the Flare network once the network is ready. 2, XRP ledger account holders will prove account ownership by signing a reference pointing at their account on the Flare network. This reference will be stored in a message key field on the account level on the XRP ledger. This means your R account, which is how XRP ledger accounts start, address on the XRP ledger will point to your own OX account on the Flare network. 3, once the Flare network and team is ready, they will announce this in advance. They will read all XRP ledger accounts pointing at Flare network accounts, check their balance, and distribute an equal amount of Spark tokens to the Flare network account pointed at in the XRP ledger account. Number 4, users with 1,000 XRP in their own account on the XRP ledger then own 1,000 Spark in their other account on the Flare network. So there you go. So that's the gist of it right there. So I guess I'll go ahead and wrap up here. But just again, be careful, because again, there are scammers out there. Never give your private key. Never give anybody crypto expecting more back. But I'll share with you more as I learn it. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!